Hell Frozen Over is back and bigger this season. This year, I will be hosting alongside my co-host Dominic Aconio. He's not here today, but don't worry about it. He will be back next week. We have a whole bunch of things coming up for you. Top plays, some interviews, and a little bit of analysis, all here on Hell Frozen Over, so stay tuned.
There's the final horn. That'll...
I thought I knew it all, but I didn't. I thought I seen it all just beginning. Sometimes we fall before we finish. This ain't a call, it's just realness. You can say I'm done, but this is just begun. I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter.
For their fourth.
I'm not afraid.
One-timer there from Norris, he scores! Murphy sidesteps man, great move, shot, kick save, rebound, he scores!
If I don't know, I just ask. I'm a grown man, so this cold world never looking back. Weighing out my strikes, pay cash. I believe in God, I can beat the odds. You'll see me on the screen in God. You can say I'm done, but this is just begun. I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter.
And the slide goes off the first one,
Death, you ain't seen nothing yet. I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter.
3, 2, 1, and the Sun Devils have won the ACHA Men's Division I National Championship.
Hello and welcome into Hell Frozen Over, a little different setting than last season. I'm Allyson Cummings. Co-hosting with you today is defenseman Connor Schmidt. Are you ready for this year?
Oh, I'm so ready. I can't wait, can't wait.
Welcome to Arizona. He knows former teammates Sean Murphy and Eric Rivard. That should be a good year for you. But now, jumping right into it, Niagara. What were your biggest takeaways from that weekend?
I mean, we have to start better. I mean, we got to play the full 60 minutes. Each game we came out first 20 minutes, not as hard as we wanted to. Going into the period after the first, a lot of guys like, hey, let's pick it up. So trying to play a whole 60 minutes instead of 40.
Right. And then who really stood out to you on the team this past weekend?
Mangoni, Gianni, he was the best D out there the whole weekend. And him and a lot of guys like Cummings and Murphy, O-Tag, I mean, just got injured in practice, so that's pretty sad, but those guys definitely stood out to me.
And we do have to set the record straight. This past weekend, Gianni Mangoni has had, what, 3 or 4 different nicknames. You have Gianni Pizza, Gianni Hockey. I don't know where any of them have come from. What is his nickname?
I call him G, but I'm hearing Gianni Hockey, so I might as well keep her going.
Well, G was simple enough, but I guess I can get used to Gianni Hockey.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. Well, now, the first line and the third line for you guys did really well this past weekend. The first line had 16 points, and the third line had 8. Talk a little bit about those lines.
Well, that just shows you great teams have a lot of depth in their lineups, and that's what makes our team so special, I feel like, because when you see your third line putting up points like equivalent to your first line, then you just have a lot of depth in your lineup, and not a lot of teams have that in the ACHA, so that's really good for us.
And speaking of depth, the blue line certainly has a ton of depth because there's 9 guys. Is there any added pressure with that?
Yeah, there is. I mean, every day is not guaranteed. You have to show up and earn your spot each day, and you have to play like you don't know what the lineup's going to be tomorrow or the next day or this weekend, so there is a lot of pressure.
Right. I want to transfer now over to more the Niagara side of the play, because Game 2 was a lot closer than I'm sure you guys might have expected. How did they play for you?
Game 2 was tough. I mean, it's the first 2 games, so you see a lot of guys like bending over on the bench, like heavy breaths, and I mean, to be honest, I was pretty sore after the weekend, so I mean, it's the first 2 games. Yeah, it was a lot closer than we expected, but we'll take 2 points like that any day, really.
And you mentioned the first weekend getting a little bit sore. How has practice been this weekend? Just getting back in the swing of things?
Yeah, it's been, after the first 2 games, got them out of the way, it's getting a lot better. I'm getting more, I haven't played in a while, it feels like, so I'm getting into it again, and it feels good.
Okay, so we're now going to send it over to the top plays of the week. If you haven't seen that segment yet, it's pretty cool. We're going to send it over there with Troy Lynch.
Thank you, Allie, and thank you, Connor. We have a lot of great plays coming in from last week's matches against Niagara, so here are Hell's Frozen Over's top 5 plays of the week. Let's bring it on to game 1. Tommy Cooney bringing up center ice, puts the goalie on skates, passes up 3 defenders, and then just puts it onto the top shelf. Great score by Cooney. Now let's bring it up to Ostertag. Short-handed, unassisted. Oh, and he makes the goalie look silly. Look at this better camera angle. Look at the intensity. Ryan Ostertag, what an artist. Now let's bring it up to Niagara. Dalton View intercepts the pass right here, and then laser shot right past ASU goalie Robert Levin. Let's take a look at that one more time. There's the interception, and here he goes. The wrister, the laser, and the goal. Now let's bring it on to the third goal of Ryan Ostertag's game-opening career, and he just made it look way too easy. Goalie could not handle his dangles. Little deke right there, and just puts it in. Goalie went home crying. Now for the top play of the game. Pass by Cummings to Bergkemper, back to Cooney for a goal. And he gets tripped up. Looks like a nice little ninja move right here. Oh my gosh, that must have hurt, but it sure did look cool, and we appreciate it. Tommy Cooney, an artist. All right, and that's all we have for Hell Frozen Over top 5 plays of the week. Now back to Allie in Oceanside.
Welcome back into Hell Frozen Over. I'm now joined with head coach Greg Powers. Good to have you this week, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Now this week you will be facing Westchester. You saw your boys play against Niagara this past weekend. What were your biggest takeaways?
Just no attention to detail, you know, and that's okay. You know, it's a new season. We had 2 weeks of practice. That's certainly not an excuse, but we've done a lot of film and a lot of drilling down on small details in our defensive zone and transition, and then in every zone. Every zone needed more detail, more attention to detail. I think it was a great lesson for our guys to be learned that you know, talent isn't going to get it done. You have to play the game the right way. You have to play it the way we want it played, and it allowed us as coaches to really go back to the drawing board and coach this week on small details that needed to be better.
And for some, that was the first time you saw them play in an ASU jersey as far as the newcomers. How did they do?
You know, I thought the new guys did really well. I mean, you know, Connor Maley had a good weekend up front. You know, Schmidt on the back end, he's not really a rookie. Gianni had a great weekend. You know, a lot of the young guys did well. They did well. They'll get better. I think that as they progress and get more confidence, and hopefully you'll see some more of them this weekend. And
did anybody stand out to you? I mean, for me personally, the first line and the third line did really well. The first line had 16 points. The third line had 8 points. Who stood out to you? Well,
obviously, Ryan Ostertag had a great weekend. Offensively, he can do some things better defensively as well. Liam was Liam. Bless was a great name. Bless showed everybody his hard work over the offseason, and it paid off. And then certainly, you know, Cooney's line did well offensively. But again, everybody can do better defensively. Everybody can be better in all 3 zones. And I think you'll see that this weekend.
And what a story, Chris Blessing. When I saw him on the first line, I was excited. We saw very little of him last year, and he did really well. But I want to talk now about Robert Levin. He wasn't himself in net this weekend. How's he been looking in practice? He
actually showed up on Tuesday and had his best practice of the year. He didn't lose one battle competition. He was dominant, and he looked really good again today. So Rob would be fine. Rob's Rob. You know, it was a different feel of a team in front of him, and those are tough games when you outshoot somebody in a weekend 108-38. Certainly you want your goalie to stay focused and not lose that focus over the course of 60 minutes, but it was his first games in 6 months, and he'll be a lot sharper.
And you guys have Westchester this weekend. How are you preparing for them?
Same way we do with everybody else. We're focusing on us. We're focused on us. We brush up what we do, and we want to do it better, and we believe if we perfect our game, nobody can beat us, and so that's what we're focused on.
And because it's still early in the season, are you going to mix up the lines a little bit to see some new guys, like a Coda Engbar play maybe?
I think you'll see some different combos this weekend, yeah.
All right, sounds good. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and stay tuned. More Hell Frozen Over coming back after the break.
Thank you.
Become the voice for those who don't have one. Be the eyes for those who can't see. Listen to the story for those who can't hear. Explore the world so others can as well. Become a journalist. Start here. ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. Your story begins here.
I'm Jonathan. He's Troy. We're here to talk about a sport that neither of us have ever played, and that's hockey. More specifically, ASU D1 hockey started their season last weekend with 2 victories over Niagara University. Troy, who were the players that stood out last weekend?
Well, John, one would think that the big 3 would be LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. But no, the real big 3 here is Chris Blessing, Liam Norris, and Ryan Ostertag. And here's why. The big 3 over the weekend, they combined for a total of 6 goals and 10 assists. And the rest of the team, they combined for 6 goals and only 7 assists. Now, while the big 3 are putting up big numbers, they have to rely on the rest of the team to put up big numbers, and that's why they're on the ice. They're on there to put up big numbers, but also to motivate the rest of the team to put up more big numbers so they can win more games, obviously. But the big 3, they did suffer a huge blow because they lost Ryan Ostertag in this Tuesday's practice with an unfortunate collision with Corey Chisholm. His injury is unknown, we don't know, but we do know that he's going to be out for the next 2 weeks, and Ryan Belanger is going to have to take his place and step up.
All right, now we're going to move from offense over to the defense, more specifically the man in the net, Robert Levin, last year's Rookie of the Year, started off the season by allowing 6 goals over the 2 games last weekend. Can he regain his form, Troy?
Absolutely, and obviously we didn't expect Robert Levin to give up 3 goals a game the past 2 matches, but we should not be worried. I was talking with Greg Powers over the weekend, and he said that Robert Levin is one of the most mentally tough people that he knows. The 3 goals a game, he's not going to worry about that anymore because all Robert Levin really cares about is putting the W on the schedule. And he put 2 Ws up on the schedule last weekend, and I expect him to put up a ton more later in the season.
Well, that's going to do it for Troy and I. Back to our colleagues at the desk.
Welcome back into the freezing cold Oceanside Ice Arena. Again, still join with me, we have Connor Schmidt. We're now going to talk about Westchester. How are you preparing for them?
Well, we're working a lot of defensive zone. I feel like we didn't work as much as we wanted to last weekend just because we're getting into things and it's just a lot of things that you have to put in a small amount of time. So a lot of defensive zone, getting in front of the shots, blocking shots, so like that.
And what are the D pairs going to look like this week?
Well, I think Levin's back in the, or Levos is back in the lineup, so things might change, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be a lot similar to last weekend's.
And would that be the same with the lines too on the front end?
I saw a little bit difference today because Otag got hit pretty hard yesterday, and we don't really know the word on him. So coach has been mixing the lineup a bit. So yeah, it's changing a little up front.
And Ostertag is one of the team leaders. Are you guys looking for him to step up to the table maybe?
Well,
injury?
Well, Otag, yeah, he's a great leader on and off the ice. And you just saw it last weekend how much skill that kid has. But yeah, we're looking for a lot of other guys to step up. I mean, it's their time right now, so we'll see, I guess.
And what do you expect for Westchester to bring to the table?
I heard they're a physical team, so just like Niagara, got to keep her head up, I guess.
Yeah. So we're going to see more Connor Schmidt throwing the body?
Oh, I'd love to. I'd love to.
All right, Connor Schmidt throwing the body. You got the new flow going on. Last year it was Troy Hoban. He shaved it all off because he joined the Army, so a lot of power to him for that. But you're now the new flow. How do you feel about that?
I feel great. I feel great about it. I mean, I don't see how it should be any other way, so.
Is that your nickname? Have you ever been called that before?
No, not Flo, but I mean, it's short, sweet, and simple, so.
All right. What other nicknames have you had?
Schmitty. I get called handsome a lot, but I don't really should label that my nickname.
You don't call yourself handsome?
No.
Not a good idea?
No, not a good one.
Never a good idea.
No.
Does Eric Rivard call you handsome?
Yeah, sometimes. He lives with me, so.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, sometimes I had the H words thrown out.
Close bonding.
Yeah, close bonding.
So the final words of this broadcast, very, very serious, okay? Very serious. How are you guys going to attack Westchester this weekend? Biggest plan.
Biggest plan? Dump and chase, really. Get in there, bang the bodies. Not looking for fancy goals, looking for gritty ones. I'm trying to put points up on the scoreboard and play a whole 60 minutes.
Dump and chase, bang the body, gritty goals. There you have it, and that is Hell Frozen Over for this week. For my co-host, Connor Schmidt, I'm Allyson Cummings. Thanks for joining us.